good night. Hopefully you'll be spending a few time to watch this communication, this video coming from your Prince Mikaya Pongi 7, the governor of state of Lekumu and Bwenza within the Congo Federation. We have the title of this communication. We have called it the Master of War. This is Remember Day, which is November 11. November 11 is tomorrow. In most of European countries, is going to be on holiday over there. So people will be staying at home, no work, and then you'll be seeing most of the European leader and going to unknown soldier tomb. There will be we can say dropping a bucket of flour to remember those who have lost their life in what we usually call white war. White war. This is a kind of hypocrisy that most of the European leaders will be presenting to their citizen. Those who haven't risen themselves to the top of the ring that we call that is being controlled by what we call Mfumunzambia Mpungu, we as the Congo people. Hypocrisy is a hypocrisy because they never remember those who have lost their life. Why? Because, they're only thinking about their money, their own interest, right? They play politics, they play leadership, but really they never put a human being in the center of preoccupation, like we usually say. Yes, the Prime Minister of Hungary has, we always say he has made a statement in the White House when he was received by Donald Trump, who also is one of the leaders in the Western country, one of the leaders who is destroying the democracy. Donald Trump is the son of an immigrant, but is fighting against immigrants in the United States of America. We call him Viktor Orban, which is the Prime Minister of Hungary, has dropped a bombshell to everybody. He has spoken the truth about what is the leadership that we have seen right there in the Western country, especially in Europe. Yes, we're gonna play what he have said. Let's then find his communication, his thought about the European leader. We're gonna play it, okay? Let me bump up the volume, then we're gonna play it.
I'm strongly convinced. It's the question.
Let me just play or put in a microphone, the speaker, so that we can amplify what is happening. We can then amplify the volume here. What is happening? Oh, I know why. Alright, okay. Yes, we're gonna play Viktor Orban, which is the Prime Minister of Hungary. He has spoken, he was invited in the White House, and he has provided his statement about European leadership. And then we're gonna hear this leader what is going to say. He is with Donald Trump, they're gonna listen.
I'm strongly convinced. So the question is whether we Westerners are unified or not. I'm strongly convinced. So the question is whether we Westerners are unified or not. The problem is that the president has huge peace efforts, which are just splendid and very positive for the European continent and all the peoples of Europe. But at the same time, we are not unified because Brussels and the Europeans have a different approach to the war. So the only pro-peace government is the United States government and the small Hungary in Europe anyway. All the other governments prefer to continue the war because many of them think that Ukraine can win on the front line, which is a misunderstanding of the situation. So it's a complicated issue. We will discuss it. It requests not just 2 minutes to respond to your question, but rather than our lecture. Sorry, not to continue more.
So you would say that Ukraine cannot win that war?
You know, miracle can happen.
Yeah, that's right.
So Viktor Orban he has popped the balloon. He has brought the truth on what is happening in Europe, and he has clearly explained that he is the only country in Europe is working toward the real peace, which is the end of the war between the Russia and the Ukraine. Ending the war means saving life of European people, most likely the Russian soldier and the Ukrainian soldier. As you can see that Viktor Orban has said right there in the White House in front of everybody, explaining that most of the European countries right there in Brussels, they want to continue with a war. This means the killing of soldiers right there in Ukraine, knowing that Ukraine doesn't have a capability to withstand in front of before the Russian soldier. We can say that most of weapons that the Ukrainians are receiving are coming from the United States of America, and it's been paid by the European. What that means? Taxpayer money in Europe is financing the war in Ukraine. On the other hand, the Ukrainians are losing their people, which is blood of the Ukrainian people paid by the European. It's a fishy game, and we don't like it. And that's why Viktor Orban, the Prime Minister of Hungary, has clearly stating, his statement. He just popped the balloon right there in the White House, in the Oval Office, in front of Donald Trump, saying it clearly that he is the only country who is pleading for peace, stop the war, protecting the people, protecting life right there in Europe. But he's facing, the most strong alliance made by Macron, Emmanuel, Jean-Michel Frédéric, Keir Starmer, Metz, and that lady right there who doesn't have any power. She's the president of the European Union. They want war. They want to continue with war. What that mean? It mean blood of the Ukrainian family, destroying the Ukrainian family. And that Viktor Orban doesn't want it. That's why he came and to see Trump. Clearly, he just defined, explained, and pop the balloon and speak about the truth about what is happening. What that means? The European leader, Macron, Emmanuel, Jean-Michel Frédéric, Keir Starmer, Metz of Germany, and what we call it, that lady from Italian, they want war continue. They are financing that war with the taxpayer money. The French people, what usually we call, the aboriginal of the French, they don't want that war. The Italian people don't want that war. The German people don't want that war. The English people don't want that war because, the leadership handled by Keir Starmer. Who is Keir Starmer? Is an Ashkenazis descendant. Who is Macron Emmanuel Jean-Michel Frédéric. He is an Ashkenazis descendant. Who is Metz? He is an Ashkenazi descendant. They are all false Jews that want that war to keep going. Viktor Orban just popped the balloon in the White House. He just said clearly that he is the only country in Europe who doesn't want that war keep going because this is impacting life, destroying families, destroying economy. He is right. We have to follow this guy. So, in Europe, those leaders are warmongers. They want war. But why they want war? Because they have stolen the money on their country. They have stolen taxpayer money. They have destroyed the economy. They have destroyed social life. That's why they want, worldwide war. Worldwide war. Worldwide war. Why? Because if worldwide war happen, they will be able, to get away from the crime they have committed by stealing, taxpayer money, by stealing, by destroying the economy, by, destroying the law, and they just want to get away from that by stealing, the treasury gold, they own on their country. Why? Because they all getting benefit from the killing of a European people, especially in Ukraine and in Russia. That's why they want this war keep going. But you will see those European leader tomorrow, November 11, on the Remember Day, they'll be going on the tomb of unknown soldier. They will be going there with a bucket of flour, try to give, kind of elevation to that unknown soldier. They try to pretend themselves that they are peaceful people, but they are not. This is what we call hypocrisy. Hypocrisy. If you want the war keep going in Ukraine, you want the war keep going between Russia and the Ukrainian people, and tomorrow on the Remember Day, which is November 11, you'll be going drop a bucket of flour in front of unknown soldier who lost his life. How many people have lost their life because of, stupid, crooked politician? Millions of people. World War I, World War II, that they call worldwide. We as Africans all usually call l'economic war, A lot of people, white people have lost their life. A lot of Africans came in Europe, try to save European, save life of a European, especially in France. We came to fight the German. A lot of grandpa have died, lost their life because they wanted to save white folks right there in France. At the end, you know, what we have received from the French people is a disaster. But who control the French people is Ashkenazis, what we call the false Jews. They never put a human being in the center of preoccupation. They only think about their own interests, their money, you know. That's why they have put in place what we call, you know, a game of independence right there in Africa, but which is not really independence, because they have moved people from different areas in Africa. They put them in command of power on different regions, especially in the Congo territory. We have seen there these people, especially Ngwebso Mathurin Albert, what usually we call Sassou Nguesso, is coming from Côte d'Ivoire and Benin. They are putting in power on the Congo territory. 7 million of the Congo already been killed. Right now, as per today, is killing a lot of young people. He has taken the responsibility of killing them. Video are there of his testimony. Why then Trump, who already declared Ngwebso Mathurin Albert, the individual usually called Sassou Nguesso Denis, as a terrorist, and he has declared the entity Congo as a terrorist entity. No one from that country who owns Congo passport can fly himself in the United States of America because they are all considered as terrorists. Why then Donald Trump, who is in the second position, what we call in a global Western country leadership, because the first one is Netanyahu, right? Does not want to send his army, his military to destroy Sassou Nguesso or Ngwebso Mathurin Albert right there in the Congo territory. Why he want to send his military only in Nigeria? Because there is a Boko Haram, a terrorist group that is killing, you know, Christian people. Why not sending also his military force right there in the Congo territory to gun down Ngwebso Mathurin Albert, the guy you are calling Sassou Nguesso Denis, who is killing right now a lot of young Congo, clearly in front of everyone. Right? The master of war, European leader, will be, you know, handing a flower, going, you know, on the tomb of unknown soldier, placing a bucket of flower on the concept of hypocrisy. They do not want the war to stop in Ukraine. They do not want the war to stop in Africa. But they will pretend that they are, you know, the specialist, you know, of peace. In the second hand, on the other hand, they do not want peace. They want war. They want people to die. But they do not send their own children, their own wife, you know, their own family to the war. They want other family died for them, for their interests. That's what the people around the world are saying no. If Macron Emmanuel, Jean-Michel Frédéric, Keir Starmer, Metz, Giorgio Melania, and all of the European leaders want war, they have to go fight first. They have to go on the front line. They have to go, fire bullet in the front line. In the front line, they have to face Putin soldier. They don't want to send, Ukraine people to die for them, for their interests. If Zelensky want a war, he has to go on the front line, fight, not sending, family from Ukraine in a war. That's what we are calling for, Viktor Orban just say it clearly. He say that Hungary is the only country who want peace. Brussels is complicit on the killing of the Ukrainian family. But you have to understand the war in Ukraine is being financed by the taxpayer money. Though all of this between quote leader Macron Emmanuel, Jean-Michel Frédéric, Keir Starmer, Metz, Giorgio Melania, all of these European countries that are sending money, they are going beyond, they are going sneaking around and taking their percentage of money. That's why they want that war keep going, because it's related to financing. They are getting their commission on the killing of the Ukrainian people. And that's what we don't want. People keep dying like that, right? Netanyahu is also beyond this war, because for Netanyahu, he's thinking that if this war keep going, that war can turn on the world war between quote. But we know that world war is only related to, Western country war. So Netanyahu thinks that he's gonna get away on the killing of the children, killing of the women right there in Gaza, if that war can be generalized. Right? Viktor Orban just said that miracle can happen. There will be no miracle. And Trump knows about it. There will be no miracle. The only way is to put peace, and the real peace is to pay for reparation to the Congo people for the wrongdoing to them, right? By the Western country, especially the European country, the French country, and also the United States of America. Viktor Orban just popped the balloon. We're gonna listen again to Viktor Orban, what he has said. Let's listen.
I'm strongly convinced. So the question is whether we Westerners are unified or not. The problem is that the president has huge peace efforts, which are just splendid and very positive for the European continent and all the peoples of Europe. But at the same time, we are not unified because Brussels and the Europeans have a different approach to the war. So the only pro-peace government is the United States government and the small Hungary in Europe anyway. All the other governments prefer to continue the war because many of them think that Ukraine can win on the front line, which is a misunderstanding of the situation. So it's a complicated issue. We will discuss it. It requests not just 2 minutes to respond to your question, but rather than our lecture. Sorry, not to continue more.
So you would say that Ukraine cannot win that war?
Miracle can happen.
Yeah, that's right.
As you can see, Trump is laughing. A miracle can happen. That's right. Trump is laughing. Trump did ask a question to Viktor Orban that you are saying that Ukraine cannot win the war, and Viktor Orban was clearly on his answer, miracle can happen, and then Trump just laughed. That's right, miracle can happen. There will be no miracle until, for the European leader, until all the Ukraine people will be dying because of the interest, because of Zelensky, which is, a kind of comedian. The Ukraine people cannot keep dying because of Zelensky. Zelensky is making ton of money, and European leaders are making ton of money. But you will see tomorrow, November 11, Macron Emmanuel will be walking with a big bucket of flour on unknown soldier tomb. He's gonna try to place that bucket of flour. You will see all of this camera, media that is bonded to the way of doing politics will make a kind of propaganda by saying that Macron Emmanuel is a peaceful man. You will see Keir Starmer also tomorrow, November 11, is going to be dropping a bucket of flour on unknown soldier tomb as a reminder of, those who have lost their life because of politician war. You will see also right there in Germany, Metz will be putting a big bucket of flour on unknown soldier tomb by trying, to flip the German about his way of thinking about those who have lost their lives because of politician war and politician thinking. You will see right there in Italia, Giorgio, what they call it, Melania will be dropping a bucket of flour on unknown soldier tomb as a sign of she's thinking about those who have lost. Let me tell you something. These people from Macron Emmanuel, Keir Starmer, Metz, Giorgio Melania, they are from Freemasonry, right? They never put a human being in the center of preoccupation. They only think about interest. Blood is part of their thinking. They will never think about you. That's why we have to stop them. All of this warmonger has to be guillotinated. That's the solution, because they are preventing peace, or peace is a general interest. You have listened, Viktor Orban. I'm sorry for me to probably I'm not pronouncing his name properly, but this is the truth. He's saying that only Hungary right there in Europe who is for peace, and also he has explained that Trump Donald is working hard such that peace can be implemented right there in Europe. But Trump and Viktor Orban are facing the warmonger, which is the European leader. If the European leaders are preventing us to get in peace, what we shall do, we shall guillotinate this leader, because they should go find somewhere else that they should live. We don't want people who want war, who want the killing, who want the destruction of life. That's what we call him. Hopefully you have get it. Shameful to Macron, Starmer, Metz, Giorgio, and all of the European leaders who want this war. And we are not forgetting Ursula, who doesn't have any power, but that lady she's in corruption. Ursula, who she's leading the European Union. All of these people must be guillotinated such that peace can come. We don't want any warmonger in this earth. We want to preserve life, either Russian, either European, or either the Congo people. But please remember, those people, those leaders right there in Europe, they are all Ashkenazis, false Jews. They are the one that are killing the Congo people. They are the one that are now controlling the natural resources in Africa. They are the one who already killed 7 million of the Congo in the Congo Federation, a new country right here in Africa. They are the one who has killed more than 60 million of people in the Federation Democratic of Congo. This is the truth, right? And we have to stop these people. They only thinking about money, material, gold, diamond, petroleum, whatever you know, all of this, material related to the new technology, copper, titanium, coltan. They only thinking about it, and we don't want them. We just heard that, the president of Israeli is going to the Federation Democratic of Congo. Tshisekedi is a fool. If that guy, if really that information is correct, the president of Israeli put his feet in the Congo territory, gun him down. That is our position. We don't need these people in our land. What is coming to do in our land? We don't want it. This is a game, right? They know that Netanyahu, if Netanyahu is put his feet, is going to become a catastrophic communication, a big problem, and they want to send the president. All the Congo, in the Congo land, we don't want this Israeli president coming in our land. Is that guy come down in our land? Gun him down. We don't want him. Tshisekedi is a threat. This guy is destroying our land. We don't want it. Our position is clear. Thank you for watching this communication. I'm gonna do it in French later on. Mukongo ke Kilimanjaro, Mukongo ke Kokokong Litari, Kokokong Litari, Kokokong Litari. Tatona mekubieka makoko babieka Abu pia. Matondo, Matondo.